And she'll tell him to come this night. Let's see. When he first remarried, he was in. And she'll tell him to come this night. When he first remarried, and she'll tell him to come this night. We further we further
Awesome. Yeah. It's a big plan.
My brother stepped up and said, "Hey, they're working on Lions Road." I said, "Yeah, I heard." That pipe is huge.
When do they anticipate? Available?
I have to ask him. He said it's something about it settling, something, I don't know.
Put that on Facebook. Stuff going on. Look at the size.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, you're on.
Oh. I'm sure people are just like, yeah.
No, it's 7 o'clock.
Good evening. Welcome to the August 20th budget workshop meeting. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America.
to the republic
Which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty, justice for all.
Here. Councilman Chase,
Here.
Councilman Kais,
Here.
Supervisor Williver,
Aye.
and I'm not sure about Councilman Brown.
He just
Arrived late.
Okay. texted in and just got back. So. I'll have a list of the order we're going in.
So thanks for coming, everybody. Thanks for Luther for being on and all the department heads. This year we're, doing something similar as to what we did last year. The biggest thing is, this is really the supervisors. Some other towns actually, the supervisor meets with the department heads and goes through this. The supervisor has always wanted to be open and let the public be able to hear this and see what the departments need. So he, has the whole board here. So this is truly just their request, a presentation to explain what they're asking for and why. So who we have first is, rightfully so, we should start off with the court system. So we have Judge Lang. And he is gonna be starting, on page 3.
If everybody too, if they want to come up and sit with the town board, because then you can be heard. If you're sitting out in the audience, you're not. Then I figured everybody's got papers. Everyone's got papers and everything, so I figured coming over here would be best.
Page 3 of what?
That's. I know.
You are using the small smaller version that I just gave you a copy of. The larger version that I was making first thing this morning, doesn't include all the departments.
Yep, so the small spreadsheet is the one you want to be using, and we'll be correlating those pages with their presentation. So I did do, Ryan, I did do your appropriations first, not your revenue. I figured you would do that last.
Okay.
Okay.
Very good.
Okay, I'm still having trouble finding it.
Yeah,
So,
trying to catch up.
so page, oh, sorry, I am on revenues. Page 5, so I told you the wrong
That,
page. I
that makes better
apologize.
sense.
Okay,
And then it's just a few lines down and you can see municipal court,
mhm,
1110.
okay.
Mr. Supervisor and members of the board, good evening.
How you doing, Ryan?
Hello.
I'm well. Tonight's presentation of the 2026 Town Board Town Court Budget Workshop. Myself, Ryan Lang. As proposed for our expenditures for fiscal year 2026, as you can see on the lines there. For our hourly staff of court clerk. 1 position. And the hourly wage is appropriately figured there for, I think, $12,881. Another court clerk 4, again at 506 hours on an hourly rate of, I don't know, 1956. And a court clerk 1, a new hire as approved, for 2143, coming to a total of $36,500 for our hourly staff subtotal. For myself and Judge Talon, the justices, the salaried amount is figured to be $37,024 for the fiscal year. I can start again if necessary. Okay. And I don't have those numbers added up for a total of our department. Will 13, $73,524 in salaried and hourly positions. Moving on to our contractual services and fees. Our big one is the security services. And that is anticipated to be approximately $7,000 for the year. Association and conference fees are an additional $1,200 for the year. Publications and law books necessary to have to be updated every year are $600. Our yearly stationery paper supplies, $1,050. And then our one, it's always kind of a little fluid, is our interpretation services. Whether it be language, hearing impaired, that is figured to be $2,000, bringing our total expenditures there for $11,850. And that ends our expenditures. On the good side of things, our income. Anticipated fines and forfeited bail are projected at $25,000 for the year.
And that is on page 3, 4 from the bottom. There's the 25,000.
Okay,
How's that compared to last year?
I believe it's gonna be similar. I don't have what our year-to-date is. I came on in January. So
So you guys actually have the year to date.
15,123. Is that
At
right?
this point,
Year
the
to
date
date?
to
Okay.
August, so
June, so halfway through, and last year we were at 36,000 actual. $36,082.
In 24,
Last
okay,
year, yes.
budgeted at 20, so. Okay.
that,
Yeah, so you-
that number fluctuates as more and more diversion courts come forward, such as Veterans Court or drug court, and our cases are then moved to those jurisdictions, we lose the revenue and fines from those particular cases. So I've already referred, several cases to Veterans Court where, typically, all said and done, a case like that could generate $1,000 in fines when it's all finished, and we're losing out on that. So, and a lot of the plea deals, coming out of the district attorney's office result in some lesser fines, especially on the adjudicated tickets and the plea offers. So that does decrease the revenues coming in. So it's nice to project 25 and hit 36, but it's
Yeah.
keeping it safe side,
Yeah,
we're gonna project 25,000 in revenues.
okay.
The diversion courts are the biggest factor in that.
And you're down quite a bit in your appropriations this year too, from what we adopted for you in 2025. Last year, we were at 20,000. And this year you're down to 11,800.
For fines coming in to the
No,
court?
no, this is just on.
Oh,
expenses.
I'm sorry.
Your expenses are down quite a bit.
Good.
And I think a lot of that came from the security services. I think we talked about the security services. We weren't sure last year where they were gonna be because we were transitioning from an in-house guy that we always had
Okay,
to the services. So I think that's why we came in lower
okay.
this year. What's that?
Or the JCAP.
Yeah, I mean, also the start, well, the JCAP grants are always helpful towards larger expenses. And that's coming due in October for us, and Mike and I are gonna, Judge Stone and I are gonna get together and see what's gonna be appropriate for the court and see what we can get, if any monies are available from that. But also in April of this year, Monroe County started the process of centralized arraignment processing. So
Yeah.
it kind of negates, the judges from having to come out in the middle of the night, or if a clerk was to come out at an hourly rate, they'd be paid, for helping write orders of protection or getting the recorder going, or all the administrative duties. That's alleviated, so that should also cut
How's that
down.
working out countywide?
I have my first 4 shifts in September, so
Oh.
I have no comment yet. on the
Okay.
cap
I
board,
would,
but
it sounds like a good idea, but I'd like to see how it actually works.
there's both sides of the coin.
That's that's what I'm wondering. Right. Okay,
And that's, oh, yeah.
I'm just noting, justices have an increase of 3.2%. But 3.9% for the clerks. This year versus last year. Just noting.
For total, I think that as some of the clerks are available or ready for a step raise. So I think that gets to 3.9% calculated in that total overall.
And you were also stating that with the new person, you were gonna need them different or more hours.
Yes,
So hours are changing, and yes, a few are getting the step increase, or at least my students.
thank you.
questions?
No,
Oh,
pretty
it
straightforward.
is. It's a nice thing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next one we had, Dan, was dog control. We didn't do any changes to the dog control other than his salary. We did a 3.2% increase for the salary, but we did not add any expenses. So he is.
Yeah.
We can see it. Page 7, 4 from the bottom, 3510. There's his. Department. So we had 17,000 going to Henrietta this year. We are not we don't have any in his expenses. Under the 400 account, we're doing 0, and then his salary went up the 3.2%.
Page 8.
I'm sorry, I don't.
Page
get it.
Page 8.
Page 8.
With the new kennel in Henrietta, if we were to have a dog, a Rush Town dog housed there for the weekend, it would be the dog warden's responsibility to take care of it. It needs to be walked and fed over the weekend. During the week, they have full-time people, but if we do have a dog there, it's added responsibility for the dog warden.
And then you stated any charges that would be incurred by putting it in the homeowner pays directly.
Yes.
How did we get, if, from doubled really, almost, from 24 to 25? How did we? Just going, used to be, it was 5,953, and then we went to 10,4, and now we're going to 10,730. It was always in the between 5,000 and 6,000 range. How did we make
I'm
that
trying-
jump?
I'm trying to recall.
I think the big part was the added hours, because if he's gonna have to be there on the weekends, those are not typical to anything that he's had to do up until this point. Was one of the reasonings behind for last year's bump. The other reason is he was very underpaid versus anybody else in the county. So that would have been another reason as well. But yeah, now that he has more responsibilities, there's definitely a lot more hours to him. And that was the reason behind why we bumped it up last year.
Yeah, we're kind of unsure when that whole program is gonna start.
Right.
And it's, they hope to have it done by the end of this year. So,
So with the dog kennel, we didn't put anything in, it's not carried, and nothing's carried over to this year's budget.
no, 17, that's what we paid. That's it.
That was 25,
That's our share of it,
one time.
one time.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we don't have a cost
No,
this
we
year.
don't. No, we don't.
We got code enforcement next, so we'll have Rick up. Actually, it'll be the same page, just a couple lines ahead is his fire. Is that okay to start there, Rick? Is
Sure.
that where you're starting?
I'm not sure that the way I printed mine correlates with yours, but I think we're good. Good evening. Thanks for allowing me the time. Honestly, on the fire and code enforcement side, for the expenditures, the only thing that I changed, requested a change is an increase in mileage. When I came back, we guesstimated what it would be. Looking at where we were at the halfway mark of the year, it looked like I might go over a little bit. So just to cover my bases, we increased it for next year for $300 more dollars. So it'd be $1,300 instead of $1,000, to bring the total of those expenses up to $1,550. And it's split between code enforcement and fire marshal. So in other words, when you look at the page for code enforcement and it shows the same 1,550, that's not making it 3,000. It's 1,550 between the two. Okay. And it's split between the two items.
So should those be split on the spreadsheet so that when we total them?
If you look under requested, it is the 1,550 is, under the requested amount. In the last line, and then under 8664, that department, it is also 1,550 in that requested line.
But when in the detailed line, it's totaled to 3,100, the total should be 1,550, and it should be half of that in the requested line then, right? Or am I reading that wrong?
So it's 1,300 plus 900, so if you add those up, that comes to 3,100.
Oh, I'm sorry, my bad. Did the yeah, I'm sorry. I misspoke. That's my mistake. It's 3,100 total for the two and
Okay.
it's divided out to the 50. I'm sorry.
Okay,
I apologize. My
okay.
bad.
Where would we
Oh.
see it?
Oh, for the code enforcement, I don't know what page number. Mine's a little
Page
different.
11.
Page 8,
Page 8, Luther's
So
saying,
yes. Page 11, 8664 is halfway up, it's code enforcement. And you see the 1550 under 400.
okay. As far as explanation for conference and memberships, we're required to get 24 hours of mandatory training annually to maintain our certification. So by attending the Monroe County Fire Marshals and Inspectors Association seminar, conference, whatever you want to call it, that gives me the minimum. And the memberships is for the Monroe County Fire Marshals and Inspectors Association and the New York State Fire Marshals and Inspectors Association. And along with the memberships to those associations, I have access to additional training just in case, God forbid, something happened the week of the conference. I got the flu or whatever and couldn't attend, some emergency happened. I always back up my hours to make sure that I don't put my certification in jeopardy in any way, shape, or form. But like I said, the only thing we bumped up from last year is just my mileage under the controlled expenditures.
But your salary is also,
Yes, so when I returned here, when I met with the supervisor, when I returned, and we discussed salary, we discussed that, you know, that the level of wage for the person, for a person with the certification and whatnot, and the responsibilities was extremely low. But I agreed to come back, you know, under what was budgeted and what have you, with the understanding that it would be looked at and that we would do some, you know, comparisons. I did do some comparisons on my own, and then I met with the supervisor and the finance director to take a look at what fire marshals, code enforcement officers are earning. We did our checks independently, but ironically enough, when I made my presentation and Dan and Janice looked at what they had researched, I was right on the money. So I'm not trying to pull the wool over anybody's eyes. Comparatively speaking, just for reference, this would put me at 32,000 a year. The starting wage for the next lowest person that I could find, and I believe that Janice can support this, the next person or the next position, the lowest starting wage that I could find in this area for a fire marshal code enforcement person is $35,713. So I'm still below what the type of position, what the generally earns, but with what's proposed, I can live with that. So,
but we are the smallest town.
We also took what Doug was making like this year, and with the increases each year that everybody got, that's the other reason why we went with the amount we did for rent, because that would have been exactly on par for Doug if he was still here.
and I think, I don't speak for the supervisor or Janice, but I think the other thing that there might have been some consideration for was with with the exception of the year and a half, almost 2 years I was gone, I've been here for 16 years and I'm still well below what other fire marshals and code people are starting at. So I understand what you're saying about the size of the community.
Just
Right?
questioning
Yeah.
this is like new to me. Nothing was
Yeah.
presented to us in advance that
Yeah.
we're gonna do this with this person or that person. So
Yes.
here we are in public and I'm not doing a job evaluation.
No,
or
I understand.
You know,
Yeah,
your
no,
value. I just
I
don't
understand.
understand it and I needed to understand it
No,
because
I'm
this
fine with that.
is sprung on us
Yeah.
at the board.
I'm not, yeah, that's fine with me. I just, again, I wanted to explain. I understand what you're saying exactly. Well, Rush isn't the size of Greece.
Right.
I
So
get it. But on the same token, with the exception of the year and a half that I was gone, been here 16 years now, about 17 to 18 years. And still making less than any other code official in the whole county is making to start, to walk in the door. So, I mean, I understand what you're saying. So there's,
just
To
need
me, it kind of
understand-
flows both
just
ways.
need to
Sure.
understand that I see this
So-
increase and we have not, first time I'm seeing
Yeah.
it.
I hear you. I hear you. So, any questions? And like I said, I think the expenditures are reasonably simple. The mileage we sort of guesstimated at first, and at the halfway mark, we were a little close, so we felt it was better to bump it a little for next year, just to make sure we were definitely. Other than that, the other expenses are just there what they are.
Okay.
Thank
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Then we have Mr. Don on deck. Or-
Evening.
How's everybody tonight?
Good, how about
Pretty
yourself?
I'm wonderful.
Good to hear.
Right. John, are you starting with revenues or?
Yeah,
expenses?
we might as well go right through
So revenues will be,
page one.
page one for them.
Oh.
So it will be page 3. And you're looking for A2555.
Does, Janice, do you have a mic or can you talk a little closer to the mic? I can just barely hear your voice. I'm hearing everybody else real good, but I can just barely hear you. It's hard to make you out.
Oh, no, it's okay. Well, I do have a microphone in front of me, but maybe I'm not being loud enough. Can you hear me now?
I hear much better now. Thank you.
I'll get a little closer to it. I'm sorry.
There's 3 line items there, and I only used the first one. And you'll see in 25, we went for $20,000. And that was because we didn't have any tier 3 solar projects coming up where we could get the large permit fees. And that $20,000 was up from the 15,000 that we had been fairly static at for years before that. And right now for the year, I'm right around $9,000 as of today. I have noticed a downturn in the number of permits from where we were a year ago. And people are just holding off. Lumber prices are going up again and concrete is very difficult to get and it's very expensive right now. So I'm not sure where we're gonna, the revenues have always been dependent upon how many building permits we get. So we'll see where we end up. And like I said, I don't use that 002 or 003.
So the 003, John, is your flood. That's the number that you gave me for your flood, your FEMA
Okay.
permits that you're planning on.
If that's the case, then I'd like to have that listed as floodplain instead of building, just so that there's no confusion.
So that's the 0.003 is
Yeah.
gonna be the flood then, just so
Yeah.
we can mark it here. Thank you. So John, you wanna keep that at 20,000 for
Yeah,
revenue for
yeah,
one more year?
I think so,
You're pretty close. I think
Yeah,
that-
we're at 9,000 something, right? Almost 10,000 right
Yeah.
now. So we might have an upsurge, you know. And if you want to go to the expenditures, on my sheet, Janice, it got kind of broke up between pages. And I didn't know if you wanted to go off of my spreadsheet rather than. Because I had to make,
The separate one you just handed
yeah,
us.
I had to make a bunch of changes on this one. Just from what I saw. So if you guys want to go to this sheet here. Okay,
What page is that?
Separate
you didn't get it.
handout.
Oh,
So, but you should be following around, so it'll be 3620, so it'll be page 7 and 8, right? On your-
Nine, a lot of the numbers. weren't-
3620, I'm at page 8,
Page 8.
8 and
Page
9.
8, sorry.
8 and they're on 8 and 9.
8 and 9.
I don't have that handout to go by.
I'm just saying for
Yeah,
Luther to
no, no,
follow along.
all right. Well, I'm gonna go off of, I can tell you, personal services off of building 42 to 45. Personal services for floodplain went from 12 to 13. The contractual for the building and the contractual for the floodplain, we can go through those individual items, down below. The revenue, like I said, stays at $20,000, for the building permits, and I will add the, revenue for the floodplain at 2,500. If you go into the 36,400, that is the contractual for the building. There's two numbers on there, integrated property systems, that's the software support. And that is for the IPS program that we use for issuing permits and tracking inspections and retaining documents. We had budgeted $3,000 for 2025. I've got 3 different case numbers open with BAS right now to get the price for 2026. So I guesstimated that at $4,000. And then I also pay for that IPS takes care of not only the building, but also the software that the clerks use for entering the fees. The other item, the integrated property system, the tablet support, I had that at $1,000 for 2025. And again, I'm guesstimating $1,500 for 2026. And I'm just waiting for Edmunds GovTech to get that actual information back to me. I belong to 2 associations, FLABOA, the Finger Lakes Building Officials Association. Their membership is going to go up. We're told it's going to be in the $200 a year range. And our annual in-service training conference, as Rick explained, we have to get our 24 hours a year. Going to be in the neighborhood of $600, which is what I budgeted. My mileage, $1,500 for last year, $1,500 again for next year. And again, that's a best guess. When I first started, I had $400 and I blew through that the first quarter. And again, the mileage is all dependent on the number of permits I write and how many inspections are required for each different permit. So the 1,500, we seem to be staying within that, by a couple $100. So I figured I'd keep that the same. I also belong to the Monroe County Fire Marshals Association. That membership should remain the same, around $100. My cell phone stipend is $600, and that stays the same. Hardware and software supplies, this is the paper, the permits. I have to have the permits made, different expenses that we incur over the year. That remained at $1,500. And the building specific technology, this is for computer equipment upgrades to the software that we use. That too remained at $750. I carry the ICC membership for the town. That's going from $175 up in the $250 range. And last year, we've been kind of waffling with where the code books would go. That was in this year's budget, and we didn't know from the state when they were going to switch over the code. We got that. The new code books will be out in September. So we'll have September through the end of the year where you can either use the new code or the old code. And then starting January 1st, everything will be under the new code. And that ICC membership, I ordered the code books this week. We saved about $600 on the cost of those books just because we had the membership with ICC. So that works out very well. And what we do is we get a full set of the code books. I think there's about 10 different books that are kept in my office. And then Rick's got a separate property maintenance code and a fire marshal's code downstairs. So, you know, it works out well for the two of us. And then what we'll also do is we get the digital copies so we can put them on our tablets and you've got them when you're out in the field working.
So what is there an extra cost for digital versus print?
We haven't been told that yet by ICC. They wouldn't let us order the digital because I don't know that they've come up with a price with that, but the description in the book says, you know, you can get the digital with the copy of the books.
So I guess I'm asking, is it cheaper to just get digital versus paper?
It would be, yeah,
So why wouldn't? we
because I
look
don't
at
use digital. You've got books that are 1,500 pages long, and to try to scroll through on a tablet or a computer and find things, it's much easier to go to the index, and work it out. Personal preference.
Okay, just saying, I look at this in my other practice, but you know, it's expensive.
The thing that I would add to that is oftentimes you'll be in a specific section of the code and it will stop at a certain point and will say, refer to reference standard 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you got to flip to that. And so sometimes you're looking at maybe 2 or 3 different things on a project, and to do that digitally, you know, keep changing your screen on your tablet or your computer.
Like just open up a new window.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
It's a lot to sometimes go from, it may even sometimes send you from one book to another. I mean, it's just.
I know, but it's
It's-
links, things that are digital. I mean, we've made adjustments over time. I'm older than you, I think.
I don't think so.
No?
No.
Well, I don't, we can talk about that offline.
Nobody's that old.
Oh, my God. Anyway, just saying,
I'm
You
well
know.
into my 70s.
yeah, so am I.
Okay.
And, you know, looking at things and just opening different windows and, you know, clicking on the link to go from here to there, da, 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 da. It's an adjustment, but
How efficient do you want me to be?
I'm just saying, I'm looking at the expenses, is what I get elected to do.
Okay.
So I'm asking the questions.
Okay, I cannot work purely digital. So we can talk about that if you want, but
Just need to understand, John, and then we'll talk about it, but
okay. All right, so my printing services, that's probably the biggest increase. And that's gone from $1,500 to $3,500. And now that we've all got codes for the printer, Pam gave us a report halfway through the year. And my printing is quite high. And I can attribute that to a lot of the energy code because we have to inspect to manufacturers' recommendations. So when we get a geothermal system, we get information on the geothermal system, we get information on the heat pump, we get information on the manifolds, and I have to print that out and put that in the folder for the building permit. And that printing, before we had the numbers, all of that was coming out of Pam's budget. So this way it's putting it where it belongs. And, you know, some of these brochures and technical bulletins that we get are 75 pages long. So I'm doing a lot of printing. Okay. So that's the difference in, the $5,500 for the IPS system. That number is going to change as soon as I get the actual numbers from Edmunds GovTech. And then if we go down into what I have for the floodplain, the mileage stayed the same, the floodplain specific technology and equipment, that didn't change. We have a map that we use. It's a GPS-based map from Monroe County. We don't know if they're going to continue to support that, so I kept the money in there in case we have to use another platform. The printing services, again, the first $500, what we did is, we had to have the actual permits and some things printed out for us. That number may change. I'm just not sure how much we're going to have for 2026. Same way with the training. Next week, I'm down in Maryland all week at the FEMA training. And we got very lucky there because FEMA provides the housing. They're providing the reimbursement from my mileage to and from, and all I had to buy was the meal ticket for the week. And that was, I think, $290, something along those lines. So I guess we get quite a stack of literature coming out of that, and we get a credential for it. So that stayed the same. And what we did is we put the cell phone stipend into the salary for that position. So
I don't mean to, nickel and dime things, but how come there's an extra 300 cell phone?
more
I mean,
more telephone calls associated with
But
the,
it doesn't matter, telephone calls, if you have a cell phone plan, it covers unlimited,
yeah, but the cost of the cell phone goes up too.
how so?
My plan is not the same every single year.
I'm just questioning it, like I could make 1 million calls or I could make 2 calls and my monthly bill, they're gonna charge me a flat rate, my monthly bill, and you get X, you either have the unlimited or you have X number of megabytes or whatever, however they monitor that. So I'm just questioning, another $300 for cell phone, like, how does that?
That's what we did this year too.
I
It
know,
was the
and I
same.
questioned it last year.
I know, and basically the $50 that you're paying for the cell phone isn't adequate for the amount of phone calls I'm making on behalf of the town.
Okay,
Okay,
you gotta ask.
and I got to answer.
Yes, that's what we're doing here.
Okay,
But I mean, I don't know, I don't mean to be the only one asking questions, so please just jump in and I'll just keep going.
Go ahead, Gene.
Okay, I noticed you built in, raises and I don't know, they,
I built in 5% for the building personal services.
yeah,
And that's again, just to cover the extra activities that I'm doing on behalf of the town.
so I guess we as a board need to understand that the increases here are all over the place. Not just you.
No, mine's straight
And,
5%
you
on the building, and it's 8% plus $300
Yeah,
on the floodplain.
I know.
And the floodplain is because when we established this position last year, we took a guess at what it was going to cost. And it's turning out that it's a lot more involved than what we initially thought. Because
I'm
now,
curious,
no,
do we get a lot of inquiries?
no, every single building permit application I get now, I
Yeah.
have to run it through the floodplain system to
Correct.
see if that's in the floodplain.
Right,
And it's spending time looking on the floodplain map and then going to the GIS program, laying out the parameters for it, and usually doing a printout of the property with where the floodplain is.
I'm just curious, like,
Yeah.
how many have hit,
Every single building permit I've gotten.
no, that have been affected by being within the floodplain and have to go
Uh,
through this other, I'm just.
Well,
just
no,
trying-
no, every application gets checked against, unless it's, an internal addition or, something like that. Any type of fence, pool, addition, garage, pole barn, shed, those types of things, which is probably 3/4 of our
Right.
applications, I have to run through the floodplain.
No, that's not my question. I understand we have to look at it for
Mm-hmm.
every application. My question was, how many are actually wind up being within the floodplain? I'm just curious.
We've been able to divert, I want to say 15 to 16 projects because we were able to locate the, location of the floodplain and then move what they wanted to do out of the floodplain. Either that or people, took back their application and decided not to go through with it.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
was just curious.
Yeah, no. And the personal services for the building, like I said, that's just, taking on more and more responsibility for the town. You want that list?
I'll let you know.
Okay,
Anything else?
I'm good.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thanks, John.
Oh. Mine will probably be relatively brief compared to some of the others.
Oh, you think?
Well, maybe not. It depends on the questions. Do you have,
I'm just harassing them.
I'm on page 8 of what I printed out. Do you have what I submitted that provides more detail?
I do not have.
So she is page 10.
Yeah.
75, 10.
Yeah, I take copies. Thank you.
Page
Okay.
10, 75, 10.
But then you gave us something. There. Thank you.
Okay. So mine is, most of my categories are pretty similar to what they've been in the past. We don't have the NISCA grant for next year, so that's a big difference in the total amount that's allocated to my fund. But what I do have, at this. So I broke it down into categories like I usually do. So expenses related to research and access are actually less than what they were previously. Membership and conference, because I've dropped a couple of things, membership and conference fees are just $100 more. And some of those, I don't know the cost, I'm just kind of estimating they'll go up a little bit in 26. And then I list the different organizations that I am a member of. And then preservation and collection is my next category. This year, I purchased the Past Perfect cataloging software, starting the rather time-consuming process of cataloging our collection. It's taking a photo, entering it into the record. And I want to do that for a number of reasons, but primarily, once the 1911 house is operational and some of our collection items that are upstairs move over to that, I want to be able to keep a good tracking record of where everything is. And it'll be fluid so that if they're doing a presentation or a display and they want to borrow something that's being kept here in the town hall, we'll be able to document it on that record. And we shouldn't down the road have any issues with things disappearing or not knowing where they are, kind of thing. So I look at it as really protecting the town and our collection. So that's Past Perfect cataloging software. It's an archival software. It's what most archival collections, town museums, that sort of thing, organization, that's what they use to catalog everything. And you can also put in there, build into your record, who donated it, the dates, kind of the provenance of the item. So you've got good documentation going forward. Let's see. Equipment, this is my big area here. I have a scanning station in the history room that is set up. It's actually a computer that was donated by Bill Darren, but it's Windows 10 and it's not of the update. It can't be
Can't be
updated.
updated,
Yeah.
I know.
And that's the same for the laptop in my office. So two devices that need updating, and they both have some above and beyond features because of all the photos I'm scanning, the storage, any editing, things like that. I need something that has, decent speed and memory. So they're a little bit more. And then the shelving. The bookcases I have upstairs in my office are, I don't know, I think they're particle board with the laminate finish, and the shelves have collapsed on two of them. So they're like this. And I take things off very gingerly because I just anticipate it's going to get worse. So I met with Keith Eggleston because he built one of the cabinet or bookshelves that's in the history room. He's built them all for the library. And he gave me a verbal estimate of $1,000 a piece, and there'd be 5 of them. Only 2 of them are broken right now, but you can see the potential for the other ones. You can see spaces between where the shelf should be attaching to the frame of the bookcase. So every time I go into the office, I open the door gingerly thinking, what am I gonna find? And so far it's just been, what's been there. But that just happened a couple weeks ago. So I wasn't really planning on replacing those, but it seems evident. And, the shelves that were purchased, they were probably fine and would be fine in most cases, but have a lot of weight on them. So I need something durable. And I did some comparison shopping, looking at library catalogs where they also have shelving that's built to withhold the weight. And they're in the similar price range. So
They're all solid wood.
solid wood, yes. So that's the cost there, why that equipment category is what it is. And then the internship, I look at this as an opportunity. It would be a pilot program with the Rochester Genealogy Society, the same group that's been working one Saturday a month and helping me scan mass quantities of materials. And we would be the first to partner with them, and they would match the funds. So if we'd be able to hire an intern, paid intern next summer, pretty much probably 30 to 35 hours a week for the whole summer. And that would be working on cataloging, continuing that, because I think that's going to be a long process. Also scanning, scanning is one step in this digitization process. Then you have to edit the records and you have to get them online. So that's a lot of hours. So it would be tremendously helpful if we were to have someone that could, spend more time. And then that would be, I would be here more too, but it would be worth it to get this, in better shape for the future. So that would be a $3,000 request. And then the headstone repair of Pioneer Hill Cemetery. You might remember that I submitted that request last year. It was for a quote that Western New York Cemetery Services gave me in December of 23 for $7,200. He said he would hold the price for the 25 year, but that it would go up after that, and concrete has gone up tremendously. That's a big part of that increase. So he said, ballpark of 10,000 to do that same work in the year 2026. Any questions for me?
There's quite a few stones up there, isn't there?
Pioneer Hill. There's more up there than I thought, and there's more up there than what I have on a list that was done some years back. When the Boy Scouts cleaned it out. Oh, there's a
One up,
couple. West Rush Road up on the hill.
Yeah,
I think it was 2 years ago, the Boy Scouts cleaned it all out. They built the stairs.
Yeah.
And they raked, they weed whacked, and that when they did all of that work is when we found more headstones up there. So that's the oldest cemetery in the town. A lot of the.
and you say there's a Revolutionary War soldier?
There
up
is, and a soldier from the War of 1812.
Huh.
And I've obtained 2 historical roadside markers that DJ has installed honoring Revolutionary War soldiers buried in Pine Hill and North Rush.
Oh.
That grant window or application window opens up again in the fall. And I'm gonna try to get some additional ones. I think it'd be really nice to have them in place before 2026, when it's the country's 250th anniversary. We kind of,
Right.
to honoring those folks that did serve.
Would the grant money be available for?
For the head, no, because it's a town maintained cemetery. So New York State says for town maintained cemeteries,
Town can maintain
yes,
it.
and that means a minimum of mowing, weed whacking, a minimum of 4 times a year. They
Mhm.
say Memorial Day, 4th of July, Labor Day, and then end of the season, I think are the dates. There's 4 of them throughout the summer as the minimum.
Mhm.
They're supposed to be, done more frequently than that if possible. And then repairing headstones, they don't say one way or the other. That's just my personal thing that I think we owe it to respect those people that were our early settlers of the town and take care of their graves as best we can. They're in pretty poor shape already, but if we could prevent it from going any further, it would be a positive in my mind. I know it's a lot of money, but it's not gonna get any cheaper.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Just put it out there and maybe it will get approved. I'm hopeful.
And the 1911 house will be done then mainly, mostly?
Should, yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Yes, it should be. I think they're ready to request an addition, the next payment from the state. So you have to expend so much of what you have received already, and you have to produce all the receipts, and we're working on a report that's due now too. They keep pretty close track on where that state money and how it's being spent. So we're moving along though. That's
Awesome.
yeah, it's a long time of getting there, though. I think we're finally seeing an end goal. Getting closer. If you don't have any questions for me, I have one for the board, and maybe I should have asked this of Janice before. I've been here 11 years now, and I have never put in my own increase for salary. I thought
I
that was something that was always decided by the town board. But I know the last couple of years, it doesn't seem to be the case. And I noticed the same thing. There's a lot of variety in what people are putting in for that. So are there any guidelines? Are we supposed to look at national averages? Or are we supposed to justify what we're doing to ask for certain amounts? What does the board want us to do?
I think the baseline has typically been like the cost of living is like 3.2%.
So it's a
It's-
cost of living, not a performance increase, right?
Typically, it's the cost of
Okay.
living increase.
Okay, I've never worked for an organization
there's-
where you named your own increase before, and it just doesn't feel terribly comfortable.
Well, you have to, I think people do have to advocate for themselves, being in the industry, more of what people make in that regards than necessarily I do or somebody else,
Okay.
But yes, I did put everybody at the 3.2% unless they requested more
Okay.
for whatever reason.
So if it's cost of living, that is basically the same across the board, right? So I should put that in next year, or we would be told what the across the board is?
Yeah, I put it in for you.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, oh, I didn't come up with that, so I didn't know. So just for
Yeah.
future reference, what we're supposed to be doing.
There's no steps associated with the historian position, is there?
No,
I don't think
no,
so.
there's no steps.
So in the future, check with you and see what,
Yeah,
You're
so,
recommending?
yeah, so the state really set the guidelines this year because minimum wage went up 3.2%, so.
okay.
To keep from compressing, that's kind of the guidelines that we all chose to go with.
Okay, all right. Yeah, just
Not
so I
saying
know
that
what
it's
we're doing.
necessarily correct, but
Right,
it's just a guideline.
okay, all right.
So I would, just as a comment, appreciate being included in those conversations. I know this is my last year, but it's really annoying. Just annoying. I mean, I do my own research, as you know. And I'm not far off, so I'm not having a problem with a 3.2.
Mhm.
I know Social Security is expected to come in at 2.7, but when I look elsewhere, so we're in the range, the 3.2. And this is everywhere,
Right,
so I would say you have to be your own best advocate
okay, all right.
if you think that that's not fair, and it's not up to me, but you know.
I look at what I do as more for the community. I'm not here to, it's a retirement gig. So I enjoy it, but I just wasn't sure what the process was supposed to be. Okay, any other questions for me?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Sue.
Yeah, you next. Oh, okay. So are you gonna start with revenue?
It really doesn't make any difference to me.
Okay, so we will start with revenue for recreation, and that'll be on page 3.
Sorry.
I must have a different number. Mine's on number 1.
You're good.
I don't know. Okay, so, I looked at the numbers that Janice sent me and I noticed that the grant was included in my revenues. So I took out the grant and I took out the pavilion because usually the pavilion is included in my revenues, but in this report, it's separate. So, with that being said, it's pretty close to what you had. You had what, 91.5 something
Yep.
for next year, and I have 91,787, so that's really close. There's no changes in revenues other than, I'm applying for more grants. There's one that is higher up at the community foundation. I hate to even mention it because it's not a done deal yet, but, it would be for pickleball courts,
Oh,
2 of them. So that's very exciting. They would pay 74,000. We'd have to pay 15, I think Janice 15 from the recreation fund. I have a recreation fund from the building department. When somebody builds a new building, so that would take care of the cost of that. So
what's that
hopefully.
reflected, by the way?
the
So
recreation-
that is in her fund balance. She has money in a fund balance. And so she can only use that for capital projects. So since the pickleball court would be considered a capital project, because it's over the amount, she could use that for that purpose. And
Uh,
all capital projects have to be approved by the board ahead of time.
Yes. I know that. Well, I have to get approved first. But I did not ask for an increase. I'm at step 5 for recreation supervisor. I know I'm at step 1 as property coordinator. My recreation supervisor job, has been a lot of fun. I've done more with grants this year than I think I've done in 25 years. As property coordinator, the farm's coming along great. The horse barn is getting painted now as we speak. So I was over there today. And the seniors are enjoying their meals from the ARPA funds, so that's going extremely well, so
Yeah,
everything,
why don't you explain that a little bit with ARPA?
Okay.
What is happening?
okay,
Put that in there, but where are we now on page what? We went through the revenues, obviously, and we're
Yeah.
shifting to.
well, I'm still talking about revenues, because there's a grant, the one grant for the farm is in there, so that's what made me think about the grants, so that's why I'm bringing up the grants, but, we can skip to expenses if you want, that's fine. What page?
So expenses would be page 9.
Mine is not the same as you guys'.
Just a question, after school care you raised
Oh, yes.
last year and
Yes.
you're not this year.
No, I am. I'm actually increasing the cost by 10% starting January.
Okay,
But I don't, when you do after school, it goes up and down. So I use last year's numbers as a guidance for this year, or maybe like, in June when school's almost done.
But we're maxed out and I have a waiting list right now, so it looks
That's
really good.
Okay.
I'd
that-
rather
That was.
budget lower and it's gonna be much higher than be higher and come back and say I didn't make $10,000 or something.
Yeah, okay.
So that seems to, yeah, so the rates are going up in January by 10%. But all the other programs go extremely well. They all cover themselves. The only program's the Fall Festival that doesn't. That's the only program. Everything else is self-sustainable. And part of my salary gets paid by after school. So. I have
Are
no
you raising
changes.
any of the rates for any of the other
No, I just
programs?
did no, I did not. I did not. I've raised Teresa's classes like 3 times and one of the participants got very upset with it. I left it up to Teresa because we get a certain percentage of what she does. I asked Vicky about changing it in January. We haven't talked about it any further. But no, I'm not looking at increasing costs of other programs. They're self-sustainable, Janice, so. I mean, that is my main goal, is to make sure the town doesn't have to pay for anything I do. And they do take care of themselves, so why would I charge more and make people suffer by paying more if it pays for itself? I don't know, that's how I feel in
Yeah.
recreation. I don't feel like I'm a money-making person. I don't know if I'm wrong, tell me please, because
So are the increases built into your budgeted revenue?
yes, the
Okay.
after-school one especially is in there. But
Okay.
it may reflect from like June, because like I said, I go by the present year. And in this fall, we're maxed out as far as kids signing up. So it'll be probably 18,000 a quarter that we would bring in for revenue, and there's 4 quarters in the year. So it's gonna be better than I had anticipated. So, which is really great. I have 71,000, but it may be closer to 75. I know right now.
I mean, in the budget, it says 75.
Right now, we've taken in 36,000 already this year, and I still have 2 more quarters. And it's about anywhere between 15 and 18,000 a quarter, so. I don't know, I will probably be right on the mark as far as the end of the year for me for after school this year for 2025.
Mhm.
But next year will be more because of the increase that I'm starting in January. Which will be 10% across the board.
And no word about Good Shepherd and school district. Bad subject. She said she'd let us know.
Well, I heard through the grapevine she's giving us 2 years. And she's not told me anything about it.
But she also said that
She would help us
she
move
would
to
find-
another
He
place.
would find a place for
I know.
us.
Good Shepherd, and the problem is, it's a bigger problem. When we had the flood, everything got replaced. They have a brand new boiler in that school. They have brand new carpets. They have brand new furniture. They have brand new everything. So would it make sense to tear down Good Shepherd if everything is they have a brand new playground?
Yeah, just put it in.
We are the only ones that will be there this fall, though. There'll be office staff there, and Cub Care staff that will be working there, but we will be the only ones there. They will get like other kids that get misplaced, like they're supposed to go home and they forgot to go to after school, so they get on a bus. They still go to Good Shepherd, and there'll be a staff member from the school getting those kids. But for all intents and purposes, we're the only ones that are going to be there this year.
I knew you were a little concerned about security as anything.
I did go and meet with Mike Palladino, who is the chief of security, and I met with Bonnie Connington, who was in charge of the school. I suggested the buttons that we have. Mike had no idea. He said the principals have them this year, but other people were worried about security, carrying them around, so they didn't give them to other staff, but the principals had them. But they're not at the point to give them out to other people. The phone in the room, if we pick it up and dial 911, Mike gets alerted right away, he said, so he would probably be one of the first people, and he's also hiring a security guy to drive around. It just was concerning to me because 3 years there was a shooting when the kids were in the playground.
Yeah.
And we had
Remember
to,
that, yeah.
yeah, we had to get to the school, and we couldn't get in the school because it was locked. So that whole thing, that's why we got fobs. Each one of the staff has a fob now that we can get right in the school in case that happens again, but, because there was a security person in there for pre-K, but now that they're moved the program, they've taken that person. to Winslow and file, Winslow or file, I'm not sure. But if we feel that anything is gonna be a problem, like a parent's gonna be a problem, we're automatically gonna do sign outs outside. So the parent would have to pick up the child outside, sign them out, and everything would be done outside. If we even think that there is a questionable parent, which we've had in the past, we'll just start doing that for the safety of the staff to make sure that there's not a problem. But it's happened like once or twice in the 25 years I've worked here, so I don't think that it's more of a problem outside of the building than inside the building, so. Does anybody have any other questions?
Yeah, if we could, go
Which
to
one?
the expenses.
Sure.
Well, she hasn't started talking about the expenses yet, right?
Oh, I thought we
No.
just kind of, I'm sorry.
No.
I'm sorry, Janie.
So, expenses will be page 9.
Oh, here they are. Oh,
So
yeah.
This is 70-20. So the last two ones that's
And
her,
and it goes over to the
Yes,
top of the next page.
yeah,
Okay.
then it'll go to page 10.
7, 8. My 8. Pam, now I know why you did single pages instead of double sided. Her and I were doing this today. She's like, I'm not doing double sided. I wish I hadn't done this. As far as the program of the aging of the seniors, they've asked us to keep their balance the same. I ask them every year if they want to raise in the program that we do, and they said, no, everything is fine. The second is the ARPA fund, and that's what I told Janice that we would be using for food, and she wanted me to explain really quick what that is. When we received the ARPA money, I had to get approved to use the money. I had to find something, remember, Dan?
It took a long time.
It did. It took us a long time to figure out, and I was like, you know what, the senior lunches are great, but everybody prepares them. So I was worried about the safety and everything of the meals, just to make sure that no one got sick or whatever. So they had this, the county was fine with us having the meals catered.
Mm.
So they're catered by Rush businesses.
Yeah.
Every month they're catered except for July and August because they do picnics. So it switches from Colby's to Creekside to Montesano's. I've tried to include the country club, but he has a really weird schedule, so he hasn't been able to participate. But each one of them has catered at least once or twice so far. And it'll go into 2026. So
Okay.
that's what that money is
They
used
love it.
for.
They have enough food for shut-ins so they can.
Yes, there's enough
They
food
get
left over, so
people-
it goes to homebound people. Yes.
And they dish that out first.
Yes, they just set out
Because it-
first.
Because it disappears.
It disappears at the end, yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Where is that on the revenue part? Now, this ARPA funds, is this something that we just,
That's the county grant that we got last year.
The 38,000.
okay. All right, so we don't see that reflected anywhere?
No, because we would have gotten,
It's just sitting in a fund, is that it?
yes, and I have to submit reports with receipts, paid receipts. They get the receipts and then I give them a report, Excel sheet, spreadsheet of all the expenses, and then they send back a check to Janice. So we've gotten just one check so far, Janice?
So it is in your revenues, it is on page 4. Under account A 2706, grants from other local governments. Because it is coming from Monroe County themselves. So,
Okay,
Oh, okay.
so it's
and you can
reflected in the overall budget, that was my concern.
yes,
We're showing the expense, but I
Yeah.
didn't see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know
Yes.
that either. I'm glad you asked that
Okay.
because I didn't get a chance to ask her earlier.
Okay, so that's being used for senior lunches.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it bought also the kids a lot of the supplies at after school because it's youth and senior grant. It's not just senior. So I had to split and buy equipment and stuff for after school as well to make up for the kind of being a little bit the same for both. So but that'll go into 2026. But they've loved the meals, which has been great. It's worked out really well.
Yeah.
And as far as program for the agent, the contractual, Janice, that's just. I'm not sure why that shows 10,331 for 677 2.4. Does that just include the grant as far as expenses? I got the report when you guys got it, so I
I'm
don't
sorry,
know.
what did you?
When it
just
says
say?
year to date for the 677 2.4, it says 10,331. Does that include part of the grant?
Yes,
All right, I didn't get a chance to ask her earlier. She sent this today, so I wanted to ask about that. Because that's over the adopted budget of 8,450. So the grant is included in that year-to-date number that you're seeing, the 10,331.
Yeah, because when we did the budget last year, we didn't even know about this grant. nor
Yeah.
That we would be getting. So
Right, right.
So is that remaining monies that's in that grant part of that total of 28,400 then?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes. It's all over the place, so. If you have any questions about anything, like I said, nothing's really changed other than I'm increasing the revenue for after school.
So you just did account number 6772 for aging. Now you could do account number 720, which will be the next account number down. And you can talk about your after school, your fall festival.
Okay.
Or your sale.
The personnel sale at personal services.
Yep.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
everything was 3.2%, you guys. I didn't change. Nobody got a step increase or anything, so that has stayed the same. I think there was one person that we had to change because the minimum wage would have been less. It would have made less than,
I thought you did have a step increase for one of your employees. and
but
then-
that was because it wasn't matching the state requirements for the minimum wage.
Okay.
I think we changed one of them because they would have been under the $16. So, other than that, we did step increases last year, so I didn't do them this year.
You're staying with the same amount for the fall festival for next year?
Yes, I wanna increase. Yes, I've left it the same.
Could you come up with a way to try and generate a little revenue to help with?
I
some
know,
costs
somebody,
there?
I know.
I
My-
mean, I think you could get the corn maze. I mean,
People tell me I should charge for that.
I was,
And then somebody are like, you should charge for parking. I'm like, I don't wanna
Thinking.
soak everybody for money because it's supposed to be affordable, but
yeah, but you can make it, I mean, it can be, you don't have to gouge, but I mean, I was with you when we put that corn maze in.
I
mean,
know.
it's a lot of work. And then
Yeah.
you went out there and almost
but-
killed yourself on Monday cleaning it up the
I-
rest of the way. So I think that you should try and consider some, I'm not saying
Okay.
you need to, but you should probably increase that and try and come up with a way to help fund some of it.
Well, I will tell you that we're almost at a revenue that I have in here, which is, I know not a lot, but the food vendors and the craft vendors have made up what we have for revenue already.
Oh, yes,
They've
Yes.
done what?
The amount of food vendors I have and
Yeah.
the vendors, the craft vendors has already made up the revenue that I have in the budget already.
permits.
It's August.
And how
yes.
many people do you think, just conservatively, went through last year?
I would
Yeah,
say
right,
close
right.
to 1,000.
I mean, so if you
It's a lot
if you
of
charged $1 to go through the corn maze.
Dan, I know.
I mean, you,
No.
you could probably,
Okay,
it's just something to think about.
okay, I will change that. Instead of making
Because
it
I
free,
think-
I will charge for that.
What I'm worried about is, and I can't speak for Luther myself, but myself, I didn't mind going out there and Dan going out there to do the corn maze,
I
but
know.
you know, if it may not always be there.
Yeah.
So you should have something figured in to try and get,
Okay,
just to protect it a little bit.
okay. Think $1 a person or $5 a person or $2?
No, I'd say
A
$1.
buck a
I-
person?
Yeah, I don't
Well,
have to go
you-
crazy.
You and your son do that. You guys did the wagon rides last year. Did you guys do well?
Yeah, we did fine on that, but it's- like I say, there's what, $1 a person, so it's $1 on the corn maze is really
Okay.
nothing, you know?
Okay,
Yeah, that,
It's
all
not.
right.
Yeah.
Do you want me to start charging for parking too?
but we have problem with parking lot attendants at this point, don't we?
That's what
I
I
have
was
enough
thinking,
people.
how are you gonna collect?
Oh, no, I have tape and everything. I'm ready for parking this year. I have
Do we-
enough
do we have-
people.
Oh, you have people?
Oh, yeah,
Okay,
and I
all
have,
right.
Got people.
and then TJ over there is going to do he's doing an exit.
So the county at this point, not to ruin your whole mode of action there, but is giving me a little bit of nonsense about having 2 driveways on one piece of property.
Are they really?
So hopefully we can work it out and it'll be fine.
Okay.
At this point, You know, maybe it'll only be a temporary driveway, I don't know, we'll work something out and get it figured out.
Okay. All right, we had people driving all over
Oh,
the
if-
property last year, so we have to do something this
It
year.
was pretty organized.
It was very organized, but at the end it got a little crazy and then we had a car accident, yeah,
Oh,
well,
oh. Okay.
yeah,
Two cars got stuck together.
yeah. But the
Okay.
food vendors, we have a lot this year, we have like 10, so I'm really excited
Do
and,
they pay for a
oh,
spot?
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, and then Rick has
That's
to,
normal.
Tracy has to approve all the
Yes,
vendors.
inspect.
Inspect, yep. I have to have like Department of Health, Rochester
inspect.
Fire District Safety Certificate. They have to add us on as an additional insured on their insurance. Then they have to pay $20 and then fill out a application for the festival. So there's like 5 or 6 papers that I have for each one of them to protect the town if something happens, so. But yeah, they pay $20 instead of $10 like the vendors. I could probably charge more for vendors. Is what I could do.
Yeah, perhaps. I mean, if they're, yeah, that might be a better way to do it.
Okay. I
If-
can
if
next
you-
year because I've already got.
If you don't think it's gonna deter vendors, and then,
No, because I kind of laughed that it's $10, so. I
Yeah,
can change
oh, yeah, okay.
yeah,
I think that's easy money and you won't be earning
I
that.
mean, even if you
Yeah.
did the vendors and then charge for parking, but then the corn maze, that way, it's just, you're not, it doesn't feel like every step of the way they're getting charged, nickel
Right.
and dimed.
that. Right,
So then if you charged $5 a car
okay.
and bump the vendors up, these are, we're just
I don't know,
spitballing
whatever
ideas.
you guys think, whatever you think would work best. I'm,
All the kids' games are all free.
yes, they are. And the pumpkin painting's free and he's donating the pumpkins this year
Mhm.
because I had such a hard time getting them last year. The deer kept eating them all. So,
The problems.
yeah, we had a lot of problems last year with pumpkins, so.
Well, I'm excited you got your corn maze.
I am too. It's fun. The deer kind of ruined it at one point because I left it. We did it, what was it, the beginning of August? Like
No.
July, the end of July?
Oh, it was June.
What did they eat shortcuts
Was-
too?
No,
No,
I
it
think,
it was
what-
July.
It was early July.
Yeah.
I think what they did is the bedding with the babies.
Oh,
So when they did that bedding, it ruined part of what we had done. So I had to go through and kind of redo it a little bit because the corn was down.
Yeah.
They had been laying down on it. So
Oh, yeah.
what we had done, part of it was ruined by them,
What's looking good
nesting or
now?
whatever, huh?
Looking good now?
It looks good now.
Good.
Yeah, it took a little while on Monday, huh, Pam? So, any other questions, folks?
No, if we could.
Thank you very much,
Adjust
guys.
some of the revenue and what maybe you think the fall festival's budget a little bit more to put it on and.
Well, and I
see.
hate to do cars because you don't prepare people for that. Like I say, it's all cash on in the application, but when you go to parking, when you go to something like that and you're not prepared to pay cash for parking, you're like, well, I don't have cash.
Yeah.
That's,
So if it's $1 for the corn maze, that sounds good.
Yeah.
And then the vendors I'll hike up next year.
More things on cash. I'm telling you, when I
I
go
know.
out, they don't want to pay the credit card fees.
Well, and they bumped up the prices for the trolley and the train ride from 12 to 15. So you figure a family of 4, that's gonna hurt a little bit, so. But I can change, I'll charge for the corn maze and up the vendors.
Wait, so they're charging for train rides?
It's
And
going up.
your vendors from,
They get $10,
they're,
yeah.
you're bringing people in and they're getting paid?
Well, no, people have to pay to get on it,
Right,
separate.
but you're bringing the people for the
Oh,
fall
yeah,
festival.
oh, yeah.
He
Okay.
thinks you should get a cut of their pay.
Yeah.
That's what I'm.
I'll let you guys handle that.
I'm just.
Before you leave,
Oh.
can we also have you talk about the pavilion? So it's the next
Okay.
page, just because you're the one that kind of comes up with a lot of those expenses.
Okay, all right.
So page 10, 7140.
Okay.
There wasn't really anything exciting about the pavilion. There's the playground, but that's not me, that's DJ.
It
The
says
playground.
playground, but it's your pavilion account.
It's not under that though, for me, Janice, it's under 2025. Oh, that's the revenue, sorry.
Yeah.
So
Yes, these are
sorry.
Your expenses.
Last year is when we did the tables, I replaced some of the tables, inside and the picnic tables outside. You had suggested maybe adding more of the tables and then, is there anything else?
You said there was more tables that need to be replaced.
Yeah, we only did half of them.
So
I
you
did,
need to put that in your budget to replace the other half.
okay, I did 5 last year. So maybe 5 this year. Some of them are very unsafe just because they've been used for so many years. We've had the pavilion a long time now, so. But that was really, we've already done the thermostat. John put the thermostat in, the Wi-Fi thermostat. We've opted not to do the fireplace because it was too expensive. It wasn't worth spending the money. Dan and I talked
Yeah,
about it, and
yeah.
it was outrageous because the electric would have to be put in the wall and everything for safety reasons,
Yeah,
so
through the masonry,
it's like 6,000 or something,
3,000.
3,000. So we
The
opted
fireplace itself wasn't too bad, but getting the wire to.
getting the wire put away, so we decided just to leave that.
There's also the camera upgrade, if you want to explain that.
Oh, but that's not just me though.
Well, but.
Okay, so the camera really has been working that great in the pavilion. And we are at our max with what we have now. The people that have our security cameras have said that they can't do any more upgrades. So Sharon,
Prices.
yeah, Dan's getting prices and they're looking for the town hall and the pavilion.
Yep.
But the one out there hasn't been working for a while. I don't know, because it's Wi-Fi, I don't know. We don't have,
That. I told them I need these numbers for the budget. So
I know.
I should have them all.
Well, Sharon's got them, most of them,
Oh,
right?
does she?
Yeah.
I haven't talked to them about that.
And that will include for the pavilion to get them
Yeah.
replaced or whatever.
yeah.
right now?
We're looking at upgrading the whole, everything,
Yeah,
because they're old and they don't cover everything, and
They delete before they're supposed to.
the newer stuff is a lot better.
Yeah.
But
It can get more range too, like this only does
You can-
one small
Yeah,
section and the
They're
other ones
different-
rotate, so you can
different
get
kind
more,
of cameras, different kind of
right,
server, cloud storage, what you're gonna do,
right.
a lot of options.
Is that it, Janice?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. I don't want to take up everybody's time.
So we have Pamela next.
Okay, folks, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Pat.
Welcome. We're starting with revenue first. Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna start with revenue first, Luther, so it's gonna be page 3.
there's that. Again, page 3. Oh, on the top.
Works fees,
Mhm.
franchise.
Yeah, so
Taxes.
revenues would be the 812.55. Right, Janice, is that where we're?
Yes. So that's
Cause
your
I'm looking at
clerk
mine,
fees.
yep. Those are generally just the commission, the marriage licenses that we have. We're getting more and more marriage license information and requests for copies of them because of the ID that people
Oh.
need. It's like an everyday occurrence that people will come in and they need a copy of their marriage license.
Right.
So we're looking for that stuff. Dog licenses should be about the same as they were last year, just depends on when they're coming in. And our interest on taxes, it's,
So just so everybody knows, dog licenses is a different account. That is
Oh.
A2544.
Yeah, I found it down below. Towards the bottom.
mhm. Interest on taxes, more people are paying in full. Than paying on installments, so we don't have as much interest that we're collecting. And the minor sales are just with books, copying, faxes, miscellaneous. That should be a little bit up because of the marriage license stuff, but as far as where I can take in revenue, it's not very far. You can even just look at the DEC commission. The sales are $8,000 in sales, but we only get $335 for all so it's, we're doing that for the community, so.
And that's account number 2655, the bottom of page 3 for $600.
Oh, sales other.
I have for the dog licenses, there are other towns
that if they don't bring it in within a required time frame, then they're charged another extra $1. So. Because we do have a lot of delinquents, sometimes some of the information that I have to send out, the postcards to send out. Because I can go back months from, and people have not come forward and renewed their license. But that's more of an expense on the office, sending that out again. So,
Is that something we should change here, or is that something that down the road to change?
well, most towns in the county are charging just about the same as we do for either $9 or $18. And then some of the towns have charged an extra $1. So we're just
I
about,
don't have to put something in the organizational minutes or add to the fee schedule if we're gonna do something like that.
correct. Believe that is about it for the
Revenue. items.
revenue.
So your expenses start on page 6.
So expenses that I put in, I did include the 3.2 for the COLA, but I also included in my budget is a merit for a step increase for my deputy. That is something that will be only given based on, a review process. But I want that incorporated into my spreadsheet to give it. I've also included, a little bit of extra additional monies just because there are times when she does go to the workshops or goes to board meetings and takes minutes at that in my absence. And that wouldn't be covered. As far as equipment, I already did get the equipment ordered and installed for the October 1st deadline, so I'm not needing that at least for the Windows 11. I may need it for the front counter. And we put in something for possible clothing. We were thinking about doing a town of Rush type of, so that would be bringing some kind of revenue.
Oh.
Because we used to have that sort of at the Rush Market.
Yeah.
I was just thinking that we might do something like that, so I put something in there ahead of time, but would bring in revenue at the same time. Seminars, that's about just normal for the the process, and there is grant funding opportunity. I just have to submit and see if I win it or not. There's dues for all of the other training that's under 1410-4. I did increase that, I believe. I had calculated it incorrectly and I talked to Janice about that as well. So I did put in 240, but I raised it to 370 just in case I go to the regional training. Laserfish.
Says 240 here though.
Yeah, 240, but I miscalculated. I did talk to Janice about that earlier.
Was that one of your changes of today?
Correct.
So yes, please mark your sheets. This is something we came out in first. So how much did you think it was gonna be
It's
again?
370 altogether with all the dues.
So is that where, when,
So you would get rid of the 240 and she's asking for 370.
I definitely will be, the Monroe County Town Clerks Association, the tax collector, and the other NISTICA. But as far as a regional, that would include me going travel and being away from the office, so I'm not sure if I will entertain those or not. The Laserfish that we use is, it's actually, a scanning device that we've had for quite a while. And we did get it when we had the fire in the vault. So I contracted with Laserfish then, and in the last year or so, I found that the military use it. So it is that locked
locked in, so we've been doing a lot more scanning into the Laserfiche.
Hmm.
That stayed about the same, it went up about $30. And we have moved the updating of the local laws to that of the town board. Just because I want you all to be aware of the money that we're spending to do that when we do that. It's better to do it at bulk time, like 2 or 3, but we've already done 3. You have 3 or 4, 5 more that we're doing.
Yeah.
Are in the queue right now, so I took that out of my budget. I also took out of the budget because we no longer need it. Doing the update of owners of parcels back and forth. We do that automatically with the county now. So we don't have to pay with it synced with our Office of Real Properties and our IPS system. And that's also used for planning and zoning on getting definite addresses for people that are new parcel owners. Admin GovTech is exactly what we do for our maintenance. That's what we use every day for our calculating and our balancing at the end of the day. Putting in everything, and that's how I generate the supervisor's report and the funds at the end of the month. Looking at the Zoom, that also includes the zoning, planning and conservation board. I had to upgrade that a little bit just because of the time frame that we're using on recording all of that. So that is another increase. We went from 460 to 670. I talked to Janice about that one as well today. That's under, it's in 1410.4.
Yeah. And it's on at 410 right now?
It was 460 and now it's 670.
Oh,
Say that again, it's now what?
It's 670. Mhm. Legal notices, I know that Marjorie's putting some into her budget, but I just calculated we spent about 500 so far this year on that. These are all under the 1410.
right.
The Gould's update for the that is all the town laws, public officers law, all the different laws of the states. We have 8 or 9 volumes, and those updates they automatically come to us and we switch them out just like we do the supplements for the general code books. Mileage is on here because we need to go to the bank every 3 days if we meet $250 or more, and then when we're doing tax season we do more, and we also absorb doing the finance and the library deposits, so we absorb those 2 departments as well. Nameplates, newspapers, notary fees, office supplies that are non-routine. I included all of those that came to be unchanged from previous years. I just put the same dollar amount in for that. Credit card machine has no fee. No longer need anything for elections. Records management, in the past.
So that is account number 1460.
Sorry about that, yeah. 1460.
Which is a couple lines down.
So records management, we were spending or had in at about $1,200, and we dropped that down to $450 because we are doing so much of scanning. And then Janice, that was also something I took the shredding that was previously in one of the other categories out because it was like a duplication.
It was that in the 410, 400, 14.
Yeah.
Second one down, shredding.
Right.
20.
The 1410 I
500.
took out of and put it, it's already in 1460.
So we can get rid of that 500 there.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Oh,
This year it cost us $480 or $480, I think. But give or take, it's average. And central storeroom, in the years past, I looked at this,
So central storeroom.
the
is account-
1660.
Yeah, thank you. So it's the
And-
next page. page 7.
Yep.
For the way up. Oh,
So I put 2100 in there and I went back to look at what we had started with in previous years. So we went from 5,300 to 3,800 to 2,100, and I think that has to do with emails and not having to do so much with supplies being used in the paper supplies, I think. I still have the same amount of copy paper as last year, same amount of envelopes, even though this year with the assessors, assessment stuff and all the paperwork that did go out of here and all the extra stuff that way,
Mhm.
we did spend a lot more. But I think we can go back to more normal
For a while.
for a while. And then we have the increase in postage, so that went up. There's pros and cons. Just-
Yeah,
So,
that used to be occasionally go up. Now it seems to be.
yeah,
fairly
now
regular.
it's, oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
and it's not even once a year. It's been twice a year for the last. few
Right.
years.
yeah. Yeah, but I am looking into, I talked with Janice, I am looking into different ways you can buy stamps. Maybe that are stamps, all-time stamps, and then putting them on. But then that's gonna be a cost of the staff doing it and the time required to do that, so I have to see what that balances out to be. Cost savings or not.
We're open to any ideas.
And I am gonna call on my colleagues to see if they are doing anything like that can help them. I know a lot of us are moving to digitalize some things. There's some things that we just can't. So, and even the permanent things, we can digitalize them, but we still need to keep them as well, so. The Toshiba copier, which is still in 1670. That's why I went out to all of the other departments and told them how much they were charging to print. That is about it. I do want to add though, the highway department and having a full-time person and doing the flowers and having the beautification of the town. I put together the schematics of how much to order for whatever. I think everything looks really good this year. And I'm hoping that we have 2,700 in our 8410 account. If we could raise it to 3,000. Possibly, so.
Yeah.
84,
said
it's
84?
8410,
Are you talking community beautification? That's 8510.
8510, sorry.
all right, I found it.
So we have in there 2,700 right now.
Yep.
You're asking it to be 3,000?
Yeah,
And what is that used?
that's used for flowers and I think we
Mulch
need
comes out of there?
mulch. But I think a lot of things right now are overgrown, so we might need a little bit more like trimming stuff that we could probably take out of there.
So if this is for the supplies or for to
Flowers,
have it done?
flowers, shrubs, it'll be all included in that.
Okay,
Because the trimming and the that type of stuff is included in that. But this year, we didn't do a lot of that at all.
I was gonna say, cause I thought the highway department was doing. it.
Well, the highway department is
Andy is
doing it
doing
and
the
we're
one.
doing it together, but I'm like coordinating what needs to be done at what spots and what flowers to put in, that sort of thing. It's not in my budget. It's like a
Just-
separate line item
Just
hanging out there.
something we should do.
Well, it's technically the supervisor's. you know,
Yeah,
Line,
okay.
but so she's just putting in a request. We have had multiple people compliment on how well town hall and downtown looks. This year, I've heard multiple people come through to the supervisor's office and. So, besides that.
What was that number again?
8510.
No, what was
Yeah.
that suggested? 3,000?
Yeah.
I'd like to up it by $300.
And also, we do get everything, all our planting and stuff from at a wholesale price from Chase's. So their costs might go up a little bit, so I think,
I'm sure it'll be affordable.
yes.
Know somebody over there?
I know.
I got a guy.
I got a guide. Any questions on anything?
Thank you, Pam.
Thank you.
And I'm gonna have surgery tomorrow morning.
Oh, good luck.
Oh, boy.
So Kirsten is next and she is page 1.
Thank you all for meeting with the town departments this year. We appreciate it. Luther, can you hear me okay?
Yep, I do. I can hear you.
Okay, great. Okay, page 1. So you also have my annual breakout
Yeah.
here in my budget notes.
I always like to look at this.
I'm not a numbers girl, so it's for me as much as anything that I do all this extra work. Okay, so we're gonna start with revenues. Property taxes are gonna go up. I'll tell you, most of that increase is due to minimum wage increases that are not under our control, as you know. And there's about another $81,000 of my budget that I can't control. That's fringe benefits. And the utilities that I don't control. So there was a couple of minor errors on my budget report that I got today. Under 2,082 library charges, that should be $50. It's that cell is empty. That is, library charges are when a patron has to pay for a lost item. We don't have that happen very often, so it's a very small amount, but it should be $50 in there. Everything else was normal under income. Sales would be when patrons are paying for copies and faxes. So that sort of minor income, printers, copier, faxes. And that's based on year-to-date data through the cash register. Gifts and donations, that's our Adopt an Author program, where patrons make a donation of $15 to cover the cost of a new book for their favorite author. And we can't control that because it really hinges on how often your favorite author publishes a book. Some authors are very prolific and others are not, so. But it's a commitment on the community's part, which is a really nice program. We've had it going on for a long time. Library system grant, $3,600. That has to be used for books and other circulating items. It's based on our circulation numbers and it's going to vary every year until the fund runs out. And that's been very helpful because the cost of books has gone way up. And I've been trying to keep my contractual budget flat. So that's been a really nice little windfall to have for a few years. State aid is very small, $145, and appropriated fund balance. I don't control that. That's the finance director's decision along with the town board. Any thoughts on revenue?
Just, I guess the gifts and donations.
Yeah.
it was quite a jump up from last year,
Last year
what we adopted in 2025.
was 500. And it's actually going
Am I
down.
looking at the,
It's gonna go down.
okay, I'm sorry,
Predicted
I'm
to
looking
go
at, I'm looking at the library grant. I was following the
okay.
wrong line across.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
that's okay.
So we were at 1,280.
Right. And it's going up because again, it's based on circulation numbers. And then during the year we had the disaster in the children's room, circulation was down.
Okay,
And now it's climbing back up.
okay.
Yeah.
Right.
It's amazing that one thing like that could affect a grant as much as it did, you know?
Mhm. Okay, ready to move to appropriations?
Mhm.
Okay. Personnel services, it makes up the majority of my budget. And I can tell you, the minimum wage has really increased at a clip over the last 6 or 7 years and has really driven our personnel costs. I have desk clerks who start at minimum wage. And then I have senior clerks who have responsibilities over the desk clerks, and they're in charge of the building when I'm not there, as I explain in my budget notes. So when you increase the minimum wage, that will impact the senior clerks with compression and ultimately my salary as well. So I have taken the track of increasing everybody by the same percentage. And in addition to that, I have employees that are qualified for a merit-based increase, a step increase, which is written in the notes. If somebody has not quite reached step E yet, then they are eligible for a step increase. They do have to sit before me for an annual review. I'm one of the few departments that actually does annual reviews. I also receive an annual review from the library board. So I have 7 people giving me an annual review every year. I haven't had a merit-based increase in about 14 years. So I really appreciate that the town board has voted in a longevity pay increase for those people like me who no longer receive merit-based increases. So next year I have 3 potential merit increases that's spelled out on the big budget page. And that doesn't mean they're going to get it. They have to sit and receive an excellent review for that. If anybody ever wanted to look through my review process, I'm happy to share that with you. So when you're looking at the town's budget, there's the 154, 340.
Mhm.
And then the number underneath that is the longevity bonuses. It's not listed, but that's what it is.
Okay.
And so I
You're
do
saying that's about,
about $1,250, $1,200 to
You had the
$1,250.
1250 there,
Yeah.
that just didn't have category over on the other side.
But that's the
That's the
longevity
longevity.
bonus.
so I'm just looking at your sheet.
Mhm.
What do you mean up 6.3%?
When I compare my overall personnel budget from 2026, from 2025 to 2026, it went up 6.3%. So that's because of minimum wage going up plus the potential for merit increases, which are factored in. So it's going up 6.3% for just personnel.
But
If
you're
if all
saying-
the merit increases too.
If all the merit increases go through. It
But
goes up.
otherwise it's 3.2, like yours is 3.2?
Mine's 3.2, everybody's is 3.2. And then on top of that, I have 3 employees who may receive a merit-based increase.
Actually, for the hourly staff, it's, if you read in the note section, that increase is actually 7%. But when you add your 3.2 in is what brings it down to the 6.3. So
Yeah.
the hourly staff is a little higher than the 6.3.
And it's always possible that I might have an employee who resigns or retires at step E, and then I hire someone in as a clerk or a senior clerk at a lower step, and we could see some cost savings there, but I
Right.
can't guarantee that in any way.
Just happened in the court.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, any other questions about personnel? Or longevity? I just have a couple of employees who would qualify for longevity besides myself. Under capital, that hasn't changed, it's $300. And then we are down to contractual. So there's two contractual budget lines. There's the one I control and the one I don't control. Under the contractual that I control, I've kept it as flat as possible, recognizing that more money needs to be given to staffing. So we can't open the library without staffing. And so even though the cost of books and office supplies and travel, pretty much everything under my contractual is increasing in price, we've kept it as flat as possible. The only thing I could not keep flat was the member cost share. So we pay to be a member of Monroe County Library System. We have a contract, a legal contract with the system for services. And so that is contracted to go up 1.5% every year. So we're talking $78 for next year. That covers all the IT infrastructure for the library, IT personnel help, circulation software, the delivery of books around the county. It's really a bargain when you look at what we pay for a year's worth of being a member of the county system. Everything else is flat. I can tell you that halfway through the year, we have run out of money for the last about 8 years. We've run out of money for visiting artists because of course their prices are going up to come and give a lecture or teach a class. And the Library Board of Trustees is using fundraised funds to pay for those for the second half of the year.
Okay.
Last year, they helped with our materials budget that fell short. And they also helped a little bit last year with office supplies. And so they are using fundraised funds to pick up any balances that we go over budget on.
So you're still able to offer it?
Right, we are. Yeah. And of course, we're always looking for inexpensive, free teachers to teach classes. We do a lot of in-house so that employees are teaching a lot of classes. And the community loves our program selection and they're very happy. We have people coming from all over the county to come to our classes. That's a big part of what we do is educating public.
So do you keep track of that somewhere?
Absolutely. I keep all the stats.
Keep track of
Yes, but
Every month I give a report to the library board that has all kinds of statistics on it of programs,
in attendance.
How many people walk through the door, the circulation numbers, numbers on how many people used ebooks versus regular books, how many people used our Canopy streaming service that we offer, keep stats on everything. And I fill out a really big state report every February that also sends all those stats to the state. Any questions about my contractual? It's pretty flat. Yeah, it's best I could do. Under contractual, so that's the 44,910. Oh, and I would say on your sheet, the 44,910 and the 3,600 should be flipped because I think that there's an error there. 410 is grants, and that's the 3,600. And 7410.400 is contractual, not grants. So those two numbers are inverted.
I see.
Do you see what I mean? They're right on yours?
Oh.
Are they?
You just said 410,
400 should be
44,910.
contractual.
Yeah.
And 410 is grants.
For 3,600.
But the wording.
Under the
title,
description.
The description.
Description is
Not the
reverse.
numbers.
I'm
Right.
sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, I will change the.
Okay.
It's like, that's right.
Yeah, the numbers are right, the description's wrong. Okay. Under contractual, which is utilities, I have been told I don't control those, even though I do control the thermostat in the library. What that means is if I have money left at the end of the year in that contractual fund, I'm not allowed to use it for books. So I allow the finance director to estimate for me what she thinks those will be, and she increased that to 11,300. Last year was 10,000. So that's utilities and insurance.
So utilities
So-
are going up between 12 and 14%, between water, electric, gas, so I just did 13% for that.
And we do have our thermostat on a schedule, so it's not heating and cooling the building on the weekends when we're not there and at night. Yeah,
Vibrations still gone?
yes, there's been a little upgrade there. Okay, under the state retirement system and all the other fringe benefits, I don't control those. Those are determined by the town finance director. So those are going up substantially, of course. Fringe benefits are going up 11%. From 64,700 to 71,650.
Where are we looking?
You're looking at, starting with state retirement, social
Yeah.
security, workers' comp,
Yeah,
down to hospital, medical.
Okay, just those all in together.
Yeah, so, yeah. If you look on my sheet, they have their own section. And they're aligned with Janice's numbers.
okay.
Yep.
Just so we could see year over year
Yep.
better than,
You sure can.
and it's projected to go up in total, that grouping by 11%, is that it?
Yes, that's correct. So overall, the budget is going up 8%, which is unfortunate because, but that's based on the state mandate of minimum wage and utilities and benefits going way up. We're not a money-making venture. So we don't have a lot of revenue coming in, but thankfully we do have resources through the library board and fundraisers. And we are utilizing them. We're utilizing volunteers to help reduce expenses for staffing. And all those things are spelled out in my budget notes.
So that's why we're adding another 10 grand out of the fund balance.
Yeah, that's, so after you look at her expenses and her revenues, it was missing roughly 28,000.
At some point during this whole process, we're gonna get a whole report on the fund balances, yes.
Yes, yeah, you get that for, the. What's that? Yeah, the first budget that you get in September there.
I'm sorry.
You'll get it.
Do we have a sense of the fund balance for the library?
Should be all in there. I like to see that
Yeah,
with all the proposed changes, how that affects the change in the fund balance. It's important.
Right.
we'll
you-
need to know.
Yes, you will have those, yeah.
I know the state recommends a percentage that we shouldn't go below.
Correct.
And I haven't really heard how we're doing. lately,
Well, that's
but-
why we had to exceed the half last year because we were hitting that
Yeah, we're getting there.
level.
Yeah, I honestly think that if the state's gonna increase and mandate minimum wage going up at 3.2%, but then keep a 2% tax cap, I don't
Yeah,
think
how's
that's
that?
very tenable.
How's that work?
How's that gonna, how, that's, what would you have us do? Close the library certain days of the week? I don't know. We do our very best to be as frugal as we can.
Yes, you do.
Yeah. As far as the insurance claim from last year, we're still spending money on books for the children's room. I've run into problems with my book vendor, and apparently all the book vendors are having the same problem, competing with Amazon for books. So they're slow in getting their books to sell to libraries. So we still haven't finished spending that insurance claim money from last year.
Mhm.
But we are seeing a lot of new families in the library since we reopened. lots of new toys for the kids to play with. Honestly, the computers almost never get used in the children's room, and that's really great because the kids are playing with toys and using imaginative play instead of playing on the computers, which we love to see. Our computer lease is due, I believe, this fall for a new lease. We do a 3-year lease plan for our computers, so we don't have downtime with dead computers when people need them. I anticipate dropping at least 2 computers from our leasing schedule because I don't think we need them. The demand isn't there. What with kids getting Chromebooks in school, they aren't coming into the library to use our computers for research. So we'll be able to hopefully see some savings on our computer budget next year.
For 2026, or are you talking for?
It would be part of 25, but then moving into 26 and 27. It'll stay the same every year once the final lease has been negotiated.
So is that the 6,000 that I saw?
Yeah. Yep. I don't know what computer prices have been doing. I mean, they've generally been falling in the last 20 years since I've been director, but I don't really know. So there could be a savings there next year, but I can't guarantee it.
Okay.
Any other questions for me?
I got one, and you may have addressed it, and I possibly could have missed the conversation. But your budget, you're shooting for 332,000, but you're only asking for 287. That's about 68,000 difference. I guess I'm kind of, how are you gonna cover the shortfall? I mean, that's how I'm looking at it.
Look at the requested line, the very last column is the one that you want to be looking at, Luther.
Right,
Yeah, so it's actually 287 that she's requesting.
right, but yet the tentative 26 budget is 332.
So that's just, it says detail. I can see right here, it added all of her expenses twice. So look at the requested amount is the one that you should be going with, because that is, if you look at the 44,910, that includes all of them. Right now, I can tell that the equation that I used duplicated the numbers in that line.
Okay,
So go by only the requested amount.
okay, all right. Thank you.
I didn't notice that, Luther.
I didn't notice it either until you just said it.
Okay, so what line item?
So this number, he was looking at this 332,251 number,
Yeah,
but
that's.
Janice is saying, look at this number. That's the number we're
The
requesting,
287.
the 287, 350. Yep.
And that aligns with
Right,
your spreadsheet here.
it does. And
Yeah,
I
I totaled up her expenses. So it took the total and all of her expenses and added it at the very end, and it needs to take that out. So that's me. And that's the exact difference.
Oh, the lines calculated the same way under total appropriations? Is there an error in your spreadsheet?
No, so
Across
that's
the
why I
board?
made sure I went with the requested lines to make sure that whenever I did an auto sum, it wouldn't, calculate it twice. Stuff like that. So that's why the 2026 requested line is the one you should always be looking at. And I also rounded those to the nearest 10. Because sometimes there's, $1 or whatever that should go to the nearest 10 actually as a budget line.
One last thing, listening to the historian's budget report, she mentioned getting a quote from Keith Eggleston. I have to say, I'm 100% in favor of hiring Keith Eggleston to make bookcases for the history office. We've had Keith's bookcases for 21 years, and they hold heavy books. The shelves are not sagging, and of course, they survived the big flood that we had last year. So
They still look good.
they still look amazing. They look amazing, and I can't say, speak more highly of Keith's work. You should definitely go with it if the town can afford it. That would be my 2 cents for it. We want that building next door to look really great. And I can't tell you the number of people that walk into our library and say, this is such a beautiful library. And that's because of Keith's workmanship. And it's a beautiful space because of him. So, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is DJ, which will be page 12.
Want to use it? You don't have to.
Thank you.
Yep.
Luther, I can get you one when you're in town or.
Yeah, that's fine.
So. Yeah, we can. That's the first page that I have from Janice and on my own stuff at the top here.
I'm trying to reconcile or look at, this package you just gave me with.
Yep.
Janice's spreadsheet.
Janice, what page do we go to? Is it page 12 for the revenues for the highway department? Is
Yeah,
that,
page 12 is the revenues. And it's page 1 in his thing.
okay.
Right, but how does that,
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything.
I don't understand. It doesn't tie in.
What's your question?
The revenues don't match.
The total?
Yeah, from what I just got from
Okay,
DJ. Am I right?
So yep, so your property taxes are revenue, so that would be your first amount, so that's 618,000
Yeah.
or 638,000, sorry. And then also the interest and earnings is what he makes on his unexpended fund balance. So that he would not have in his,
But it doesn't jive. Unless I'm.
Right, so I don't,
Total.
in mine, I do not have that, the real property tax
Okay.
number.
Yeah.
Um,
and then you also have his unexpended fund balance, which he would not have either, which is.
No, I was trying to, I understand that plug,
Okay.
but the interest is different. He's got 40, you have 60.
right, and as I did my budget, I did not. I stuck with what I knew.
Yeah, I updated it for what we're actually making.
So we should be looking at the 60.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, especially, I mean, stocks and everything are doing well and it's looking good for next year, so. Making money on your money is looking very good for next year.
The part that I am for sure of on that are the bottom two lines, that DA 3501 and both 3501 lines.
Okay.
That is our CHIPS money, our consolidated highway improvement money that we get from the state.
Mhm.
We do not get that money unless we spend it.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, oh, I see,
Um,
the two of those add up to the 157 here.
yep,
Okay.
yep.
You're anticipating less for next year? I know it's coming out the same. Maybe New York.
Yeah, less than last year. Last year I had money rolled over from the year prior in order to do
For-
that big road, or do Wardell Road.
Yeah.
Which was going to cost us, $196,000, so.
I remember.
That's why it's gonna be slightly lower just due to the revenue from the state. Sale of excess is, the used equipment that we'll be selling the 2008 10-wheel dump truck, which budgeting it, bringing $25,000. Like that's, kind of what the salesman told me is a fair market value for it.
So according to Janice's report here, it looks like we're taking less out of the fund balance this year than the prior year.
Than
Looking
what
at,
we're scheduled to this year, yes, that is correct.
Yep.
well, prior year meaning the
Yeah.
current year.
Yep. That's correct.
But then we bought a bunch of equipment this year.
We did, and
And then
We kind of
we
accelerated
got that new
that,
truck coming.
some of
right
those
at
things.
the Beginning of next year, don't we?
Right.
yes, we did accelerate what you're saying. And yes, there is going to be a new truck that'll be here at the middle of December, which is in this budget for 2026. Through the company that we bought it from, they said, okay, we'll hold it till then, pay for it in 2026.
Yeah.
So,
So that makes sense.
yeah, which if you drop down to this one, it is part of that $377,000. I also have in my budget to replace a 1991 equipment trailer. The frame has been welded a couple times now, so it's getting to the point where it's being unsafe, right?
So I'm just doing an overall kind of gut thing here. Total expenditures are going up by almost 200,000.
Yep.
And our revenue, okay, is about flat when we add in the additional 20K for
Yes.
interest, so 600,000. So I'm just curious, how could if our expenses are going up and our revenue is flat, how is our transfer from the fund balance going down? Just doing quick relationship stuff in my head.
I believe it's because last year's numbers with the revenues were higher than anticipated that were budgeted for, correct, Janice?
He has a valid question. I'm not exactly sure.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I
I'm
do,
just looking at the relationship of the total ins and outs and the plug. You're not supposed to say use the word plug, but it fits. Yeah, I don't understand it.
I think it's, in your 50 or your DA, your 51, 10, 12. Them accounts are gonna be, 14,000 less. We're also less the 40,000 of money that's transferred into the equipment reserve.
Yeah. But I'm just looking at the totals.
So you're saying the revenue staying the same?
Yeah.
Okay, so they are borrowing, well, I was gonna say they are borrowing 180,000 from themselves. That would be part of it, but
Well, no,
I,
that's
trying to
that's
figure
to
that-
balance it, to pay for the expenses.
right,
There's a revenue shortfall of 180K.
Right.
So that comes from the fund balance. But I'm just trying to reconcile the two spreadsheets in my head. When I look at revenues being flat,
Is it due to the ARPA funds? From the year before, when we used that to pay for the fuel tanks? Because initially, moving into last year's budget, we were going to pay for the fuel tanks with budgeted money, and then we ended up not doing that.
Yeah.
I think that's probably
Right.
the differences.
I'm sorry.
Yes, that's where I would see the difference.
Is where I apologize. I was.
Okay, so
Concentrating.
last year we budgeted to pay I believe it was 250,000 for the fuel tanks to be replaced. And then we ended up using the ARPA funds to pay for them.
Okay,
So I mean, that 268,000 from last year is not.
we wound up not doing that, is what you're saying.
We didn't spend.
But,
We didn't use it.
but I'm not even looking at that. I'm just looking at current year math. I mean, when I say current year, I'm saying the budget for next year,
Mhm.
trying to.
Yep.
Just look at overall, does it make sense? And trying to reconcile it with this spreadsheet. And the total expenses, the appropriations are almost the same as like $3,000 off, but
Yep.
So I just don't understand.
I think it's that $268,400 that is not a legitimate number. From the adopted 2025 budget of the DA 5999.
Follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see that.
Looking at DJs. This is flat.
Yep.
Okay,
Mhm.
and looking at this number,
You know what's not in here? The taxes. The revenue he's gonna get from taxes.
right, that's not in there, real property taxes,
yeah, 638,000.
right?
Where if you look at it in the sheet that Janice gave us. With that in there. The revenues are pretty close to what the expenditures are.
Well, it is because the plug is the 180.
Well, correct. but it also has the real property tax in where this line doesn't have that.
right?
So if you added the revenue from property tax to that number, that's gonna get you. That would get you the requested at 638.16. Put together with this is gonna get you pretty close to that 1.4 million. So I think that's the line that's missing, but
I could look at that more, but it was just throwing me off. on
I see where you were
relationships.
saying with the unexpended fund balance,
Yeah.
and that we're not drawing as much from it. But when you add all those lines up, the requested amount is up a bit from last year for what we're getting for the real property tax.
Mhm.
That's up. But we don't have to pull as much out of that fund balance, but it still
And
brings
that
us,
makes sense, but,
but it brings our numbers back in line to our expenditures to our revenues there.
okay, I'll think more about that other issue, but, I mean, I see where those numbers are, but something was just off in my head and looking at this.
No, it's fine. I was trying, when I first saw this one where I saw the revenues, I was like, I don't see the tax in there. So maybe
Yeah.
if that was,
Yeah, which he had mentioned,
Yeah,
but it wasn't,
yeah, but-
wasn't in it.
Yeah, if I take his number, add the tax, add the unexpended fund balance and the extra 20,000, it equals.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
where we're going on to expenditures.
You wanna go to personal services next?
In the expenditures, right? That's where we're going. Yeah, we can go to that. What page is that on, Janet?
So 13 is all the expenses. Even though it's gonna use personnel services as 100s, but they're each a different account number, so you're gonna see 5110, 100, 5112, 100, so you'll have to skip down a little bit to see his numbers in here.
I have mine broke all down into the 100s and I have them all broke down into the 400s.
Okay.
The maintenance of roads, you know, I gave everybody the 3.2% cost of living increase.
Okay. On the maintenance of roads, so where does the total though? Is up 6.8%. I'm just redoing my math.
There is some of, so the main crew is up, the part-time people are up more than that.
Because
They deserve it, and they're getting to the point where we're going to have to replace them. The one guy is 68, the one guy is 76. This is gonna be their last year, so some of them work from midnight to noon on the weekends. 12 hours straight. To find somebody to do that job for $17.50 an hour is probably virtually impossible. I wouldn't do it. So I've increased them guys to $21 an hour. One of them was making 1986. One guy was making 1851, I believe, somewhere in there. And numbers are not exact, but to start to build now a little bit, so that when a year from now we have to replace them guys.
So you're saying you're not actually paying them more,
I
but
am,
you are, you are.
yes, I have moved them to $21 an hour, two of them.
And when you replace them, you're gonna have to replace them for probably at least what they're making.
That's what DJ's.
Yeah, that's what I, you know, I have one guy that works, you know, all week long.
Well, I was just trying to understand if the salaries are just reflecting what we're gonna have to pay to replace these people that are most likely gonna retire.
Yep.
But you're also actually increasing their salary.
Yes.
So I was
So-
just trying to get a handle on overall in my mind when I sit through here all
Yep.
night. The salary increases.
Yeah, so what I will tell you is that 70% of their salary is covered by Monroe County and New York State because they're working in the wintertime.
So is that reflected in the revenue?
Yes. I mean, some of them only work 500 hours a week or 500 hours a year. But I mean, if it doesn't snow till the 1st of January, I don't start them until I absolutely need them. And if it stops snowing the 1st of March, they're done.
Right,
There's no guaranteed set
right.
of time that they for sure are gonna be there. I mean, I'm assuming January, February,
That we're gonna have snow.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that will need them. But I've seen them not start till Christmas and I've seen them be done by the 5th of March.
So again, total overall personal services are going up by 6.8%. Versus the 3.2, which we were kind of like saying was,
What was the reason?
well, I'm just saying,
A lot of that went up also is due to overtime. So if you go to on my thing I gave you. That it breaks it all down to an hourly rate
what
of
page?
what I feel they're gonna
what page?
starts at page 4.
Okay. All right,
So them overtime rates or them overtime hours. Over the past few years have been back down. And then after this winter, I brought them back up because I think, you know, come the end of this year, we're gonna struggle to make sure we have enough in the budget. Just due to the amount of snowfall that we had.
Mhm.
You know, come next Wednesday, we're gonna be signing a resolution to. Allow you guys to allow me to accept another $95,000 from the state of New York. Just for time and material because of snowfall.
okay.
But I guess if I had a crystal ball, I'd be able to. You know, tell you exactly what it is every year, but I can't.
I know, it's just a budget, but I tried
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
think
No,
about-
I'm just trying to, you
Yeah.
know, this is why it increased. Because the overtime hours went up a bunch. This year.
Right.
Go to page 8. That,
Of your report?
yep. For equipment capital outlay.
Yeah, that's where I was just,
So I have that truck that we're gonna be paying for. I'd also like to replace that trailer. That's a quote that the guy who sells trailers gave me. You know, like I said, the one we're replacing, you know, is a 1991, I believe.
so where is that in this report? Where would I see equipment under the appropriations for the highway?
Would it be under appropriations or expenditures too?
Well, same thing.
Okay, yes, you're right. I'm sorry.
Okay.
When I think of appropriate, I don't know why I
Okay,
got,
it's all
I'm
right.
sorry.
Appropriations, second line from the bottom.
Yeah,
So it's on page 13 on ours, is that the one you're looking?
yeah.
Page 13 and then 2, 4, 6, 6 lines down. It says machinery, but the 200 count,
Half it up.
377.
Okay, so, oh, okay, 377, I see it. So. Looking at what we're spending in the current year, what we've been spending over time, because I know we accelerated some purchases.
Yes.
Because of the deals,
Yep.
whatever, and it made sense economically. So it's kind of like, this is more than I would have, in my head, expected.
Yep.
Because I thought we accelerated a lot of equipment purchases.
Right, but like the one acceleration was that truck of the $331,000, which we,
It was
We.
part of the money from this year. part of
yeah,
the money
but
from-
it's
for next
going
year.
in for next year. We had to order it this year,
Yeah, and,
which
and we're using money from next year's budget.
to pay for that, yes.
No, that was done because the state mandate on electric trucks, and hopefully we can avoid that to some degree.
Yes.
So that was the conversation back then, why we gave him the okay to go ahead and purchase the truck for next year.
Yeah, because it was gonna be tough to find trucks.
Yeah,
That was,
yeah.
that was the discussion, and that the price was gonna shoot up.
And it was taking up to 3 years to, once ordering the truck to
To
take
get it,
delivery.
actually get it.
It
So-
pushes out past what.
Okay, so.
So
that
the only
makes sense
thing
to you?
really added
That
onto
makes sense
this.
to you?
Yes.
Yeah, I think the only thing that's really added onto that we hadn't figured on for this is just that trailer, Gene.
Mm-hmm,
The truck was figured in there.
yeah, okay. Okay.
I guess the next page in mine is just the overall breakdown of kind of, and this changes, obviously, we've accelerated stuff and that kind of thing. Of, future equipment that we're going to need to replace coming up.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you do that.
What page is that, DJ?
It's page 9, but it doesn't have a number on
Oh,
it,
gotcha,
for
gotcha,
whatever
gotcha.
reason.
Yep.
So it shows in, and my printer's not really good, but it shows in the second line over of the purchases for 2026.
And so on.
Yep.
That's all the same thing we did with Bill Udicious. We had capital reserve fund set up for the highway department so they could buy equipment planned out versus being short-sighted, basically.
So. Do we have that?
There is no equipment going into the reserve this year, just due to this year's purchase,
That's already spent.
Okay,
because we're spending so much this year.
okay. But,
So,
I mean, somebody else would be pounding you next year, but.
yeah,
With as, much enthusiasm.
We have been putting in 80 grand every year.
85.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
all right, so we're not doing that this year into the reserve,
that's, the truck's taking this year's 85.
right?
This
Yes.
year's 85 and next year's 85. So we're putting the money in, but it's already spent.
It's taking all next year's 85.
Right. Okay. But then presumably you get back on track to including a reserve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
The
looking at
following year, we,
looking at the schedule of what you anticipate having to do
Yeah,
over the
it's gonna be
years.
tough. I mean, we are behind the 8 ball on this equipment
oh, we
thing.
did get the backhoe too.
Yeah.
Right, because if you put 85 grand in, it takes 4 years before you have enough money to buy some of this stuff.
Yeah,
And then
and
you're
in 4
years
years, is 400 grand gonna be?
Yeah, but
Enough to
hopefully,
buy.
I think like DJ was saying, if you keep this updated, then your equipment value that you're getting rid of stays
Stays.
higher, so you're not
Yeah.
spending it, you're covering that with what you're gaining.
It's
from
like
that.
in hopes, that pickup that we bought last year,
Yeah.
potentially,
550.
and, well, that one comes back up in 28 because that was already 4 years old when we bought it, but the brand new Ford pickup that we bought,
Mhm.
of being able to replace that one at 4 years old and getting, now this is just talking with our other highway superintendents, of getting very close to what they paid for. Ideally, that would be, if every 4 years we could
Do
trade a
that,
pickup
yeah,
in
yeah.
and get close. I mean, you're never gonna get, but,
I know what you.
Your cost of operation's pretty low if that's happening,
well, yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
aside from fuel and.
I mean, there's been highway departments that trade them in every year and get more money for them. But the state kind of put the kibosh to
They
that
say,
because they were
"Hey."
making money on it, so.
Not in the business of doing that. Okay.
If you go to page 10. Be the 5110.4.
Yeah.
Kind of breaks down what road maintenance we're going to do or going to try to do next year. And, good estimating on a highway level is to try to do 10% of your roads every year. Mileage wise,
Okay.
so.
This is kind of an aside, what's going on with Kavanaugh?
Yes, this is besides that.
Yeah, I done. Got
Yeah.
any-
I have 3 quotes so far. I'm waiting on one more.
Oh, okay.
So
Is it gonna be a lot of
it's gonna be in the
repair?
well. Yes and no. It's gonna be in the mid 20,000 range to fix it. But the road is going to remain to be open. We're going to be able to hopefully sleeve the pipe that is already there. Minus the section that was rotted. They are going to be able to slide a new piece of pipe through the old one. And extend it out. We'll do the backfill work. But
That's-
just the overall cost of the material to fix it with is what's. Upwards of $18,000.
Could have been a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we had to
do
rent
that.
equipment,
Is that in the budget? Somewhere or not?
that is
This
not,
this year.
that's gonna
No,
be,
that's in a cost that we didn't know about.
Oh, we're doing
Yeah.
it this year.
we're going to have to because half of the road is still
That's
closed down.
Right, right.
That's right there.
So,
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
go to page 11. Is your EA 5112.4. With doing these roads this year or in 2026. This is where some of the 157,000 anticipated revenue comes back from the CHIPS program.
Okay.
You know, these numbers were gotten from the vendors that we use. So. Pretty good. Page 12. Basically everything we do within the shop. It includes, you know, the fuel. Maintenance vehicles. The page 13 is kind of our miscellaneous. You know, we provide uniforms and stuff for the guys. We provide them work clothes, shoes. Or we provide them with money to purchase such things. The drug testing that continues to go up. We are part of a consortium where we have to test 75% of our people a year. It's a random draw. Every 3 months, they ask for our roster of names and they pick whoever they want, so. Page 14, this has to do all with snow and ice. And the purchase of rock salt and mag chloride, which we use in the coldest parts of the winter to spray on rock salt. Make it work better. Due to last year's fiasco, I'm assuming the price is going up.
Yeah,
At this year, I budgeted at $72 a ton.
What was it last year?
66.
If you could get it.
Yeah,
That was
right.
so,
Yeah, there was a shortage.
I mean. You know, and yet again, 70% of this that is used is paid back by county and state.
Yeah.
Gas and electric's up 14%.
That's between 12 and 14 for everything. Water, gas, electric.
That's all on page 15. And the last part is our parks.
With parks is in the general fund. Is that what we-
Okay.
If you need to see that. That would be page 10. Okay.
So on our parks person, he received a step increase due to the CDL driver's license. He helped us on county jobs estimate doing asphalt work and stuff like that. When we had people that were on vacation or out sick. So his value to us at a crew, not just for mowing grass and stuff, is great. He was mowing trails at Bosse's the last couple days. He's kind of good to send him wherever you need him. So
It's nice the grass finally stopped growing around here.
I grow again after the rain this time.
Thank goodness.
I think we're getting a little dry.
We're getting a little dry.
Yeah.
DJ, for the equipment on that is 800, right, with the mower and stuff?
the mowers for next year,
Okay,
to replace a mower I have on next year's for 2027.
okay.
Oh,
If you go back to that equipment list
Right, I'll see it.
on the bottom, it should say next year, a new mower.
Yeah, I can go back and, it just seemed a little, but just 800 seemed low for equipment.
Yeah.
on that, So,
Usually we replace like a weed whacker, a string trimmer, weed whacker, whatever you want to call it.
yeah,
You know, a blower or something, some of our watering equipment.
Yeah.
So keep the posies looking nice. My phone's always on. If you got any questions beyond this. Or stop and see me.
okay.
Either be there or over on Lions Road, maybe. So
Yeah. When will that be done?
hopefully by next Friday, the cars will be driving across.
Wow,
Maybe before that. I say next Friday because that gives me time to,
that's a huge pipe. Huge.
yeah, it's very big.
It's
Should
what's his
handle
name?
all the water it'll ever need, so.
What's that guy's name right there?
Mr. Mr. Swift, Paul Swift. Yep.
Dennis, what didn't we go over?
So next week, we have the assessor coming, we're doing planning and zoning, conservation, fringe benefits. Buildings as in, town hall, all that kind of stuff. The special districts. I'm trying to think of anything else, that's pretty much it.
And everything with the supervisor and
Yeah.
the office and all that.
Yeah. Buildings is the biggest one to think of, is they can have.
We need to talk a little more.
Yes.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
3 hours, how did it do?
Did I close the meeting?
I make a motion to close the meeting.
All in
At
favor?
Bye.
Aye,
So I have to say
Carried.
it.
See you, Luther.
see you later.
Well, do we need to lift you out of here? How's this gonna work? So you gotta carry you.
Oh.
A
Did
little
you
bit more.
drive?
Huh?
Did you drive?
They
yourself?
won't let me drive yet.
No, how'd you get here?
I won't.
Oh. I was gonna say.
I can walk.
That's a little too far for right now, ain't it?
15 minutes. I'm supposed to work more than 15 minutes.